Ghana, and welcome to The State. It is the Monday after the elections on December 7 when polls close at 5 p.m. and counting is underway. Power has shifted, seats have flipped, matters are rising. The show is brought to us by Christian Service University located in Kumasi in the Ashanti region. My name is Gabriel 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Ankrah. Stay for more details.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240-154825, or 0244-596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odeneho Kwadaso on the Kumasi-Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known. That's
words of life, words of hope, give us strength, help us.
Something in the Bible called righteous indignation. Righteous indignation is when the prophet of God is angry with injustice. Nyamankoye, nzamandideye, ode tutuye, insandwin wankotsen wo hu. Adwin dodo no woni ye hu.
If you look into the scripture, every individual that God uses begins by encountering God himself. When the Lord touches your mouth, he touches your mouth to bless, touches your mouth so that blessings and goodness and mercy and prosperity and words of salvation will flow from your lips. And when you stand as a bishop and you speak, let the people know that wankasa Bible asemna wokano wakan wujidi na wone wo mo che.
Word of Life, Word of Hope is kickstarting on the 1st of December 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. and repeats on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock p.m.
Welcome back. Let us settle for W Breeze. On W Breeze, what we do is to give you an executive summary of the conversation for the day. We'll look at what the topic that we're considering this afternoon is all about. So on December 7th, 2024, Ghanaians went to the polls to elect a president. One president, of course, with 276 parliamentarians to take office from January 5th, 2025. So last Saturday, this was what took place in Ghana, to elect a president and 276 parliamentarians. Provisional results suggest that the National Democratic Congress's flag bearer or presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, is headed for a landslide victory with over 1 million votes difference in tally so far. Even as the counting is going on, he has about 1 million votes difference from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Indeed, less than 24 hours, shockingly, many Ghanaians were surprised that the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, called the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, in less than 24 hours to concede defeat and pledge his support for the transition that is about to begin for the next administration to take office in 2025. Although the official declaration is pending, this development positions John Dramani Mahama as the president-elect of Ghana from January 5th, 2025. And this has sent the NDC supporters agog all over the place, whereas the others have mixed feelings. The Electoral Commission is racing against its 72 hours constitutionally mandated time to declare the results. As we speak, the supporters of NDC are massing up at the Greater Ankrah Coalition Center, the old EC office, because they think it should be declared. So the EC is racing against the 72 hours. Many local international observers have described the process as a generally peaceful and successful. That notwithstanding, the EC or the process has been marked by significant challenges, disruptions in certain parts of the centers where the process took place, and the delays and interruptions is affecting the declaration of the national results. So far, we can say from the wires and the reports that 2 deaths have been recorded with pockets of violence erupting during the polls. Remember, the EC's office in Damongo was set ablaze by the supporters. Thankfully, 12 of these hooligans have been arrested by the police. There are also reports of vandalization and purported takeover of some state institutions. Typical of what happens when new power or power exchanges hands. Why must that be so? We asked this afternoon that how best can the state deal with electoral violence and other challenges that confront our electoral processes as have been recorded in the last year's elections. We're going to dig into the issues this afternoon. I'll be back to introduce my guest. Stay with me. Welcome back. This is The State, and this afternoon we are still looking at the 2024 general elections, post-elections, and matters arising. We're really going to dig into the issues as we are hearing them and as they are coming up. So the new administration is taking over on the 7th of January 2025. Technically, the process must go on. The transition goes on till 7th of January 2025 that the new administration takes over. So this afternoon, we are looking at post-election issues. You know about violence, delay in election results announcement, low turnout, everything election as we had on Saturday and the way forward. The show is brought to us by Christian Service University, which is an evangelical liberal arts institution established 50 years ago to train men and women with ethical values for transformational leadership in Africa. Admissions for 2024-2025 academic year is in progress for undergraduate and postgraduate programs. CSU offers dynamic academic and industry-driven programs in nursing, midwifery, business administration, communication, planning, and computer science. For more information, please contact our admission relations officers on 0246275375, 0240154825, 0244596603, or visit our website www.csu.edu.gh. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa. CSU, the University of Choice. So I introduce my guests in the studio, and as you know, on the stage we always have people who are on top of the issues, people who space the issues that are to be discussed are operating in fact that is their space. So we are privileged, and I'm sure in the next few seconds when you meet them, you will know that it's time for you to get yourself apprised with matters arising post Saturday's elections. We have in the studio, he was with us just last week, so the pre-election he was with us to do an analysis. He is the chairman for the Greater Ankrah Peace Council. Yes, Greater Ankrah Peace Council, Right Reverend Samuel Kofi Osabote. Papa, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. You are looking great.
Thank you.
You are enjoying the post.
We are learning from you. And I remember when we had a pre-election, you said definitely from the look of things we'll be here for post-election analysis. And
we all pray that we shall be alive, and we are alive.
We are alive, and so we're going to do exactly that. Also in the studio with us is a governance expert and a political analyst. Is also a lecturer at the department, communications department of the UPSA. Joining us in the analysis that we're going to do, 𝗟𝗓𝗓 Amate. You're welcome to the state.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. So, gentlemen, let's just go straight to our discussions. We're going to vote on Saturday. As we are seated here, Bishop sir, you can feel the energy, you can feel the temperature of the state. For your preliminary comments, how do you see proceedings?
Well, let me say that on Saturday I had the opportunity to observe, because after taking my turn in voting as early as about 7:30 a.m. at the Wesley Grammar School, polling station in Dansuma, as part of my responsibilities, I went around setting a few distance polling stations, and you could see the enthusiasm of people. By 4:30 p.m. I was back at another police station where, the countings will begin, and I think everybody was anxious to post that. We have tried to monitor the feelings of the people through Saturday evening to Sunday evening. In my own church, I could see that there was a subdued, atmosphere. The only tension in the air now, as people are agitating, is when are we going to hear the official results? That's all. That's the tension that is in the air now.
Well, yes. Since I was not here for the pre-election analysis, let me just chip in a bit, because our worry at the time was the fact that the top brass of both political, and we're talking about NDC and NPP here, the top brass politicians were exuding so much hope and telling their supporters that they were definitely going to win, each of the two parties. And we had sounded a caution by asking them to, manage their expectations and anxieties well. I mean, if you tell your followers we are going to win, they focus on that particular aspect of life, and they will accept nothing but a win. And we all know just one party or person should win. So we're worried. And then we looked at the issues at stake, and we realized that it has to do with kinky and fish. And the fact that people were unemployed, and, you know, about inflation, and, you know, all matters is to do it, especially with the exchange rate and stuff. So, well, fast forward, we are here. We voted. We took time to also observe, and we've come out of it, but not totally. Not totally, because you come to realize that people are stampeding the electoral commissioner, who has been mandated by the Constitution, and it's been given 3 days, 72 hours to finish with that exercise. Perhaps it is the institution's own fault when 4 years ago a dead Ghanaian that it could bring up the results in 48 hours or 24 hours. And perhaps, and we all saw the mistakes that came with that unnecessary hasty. So we are here today, and people want, especially when we all know the results, people want to have the official results pronounced so they could then do what they have to do. And what are they going to do? Things like seizing toilets. It's so embarrassing, but it tells you the endemic kind of poverty we're dealing with in Ghana.
But haven't the Electoral Commission brought on itself this pressure? Because some people think that, hey, this guy has conceded. You know, in the last election, they gave themselves 48 hours.
Yes.
This time they want to be within the ambit and then say the 72 hours.
Yes.
Why do you give yourself pressure when you can't just declare and let people go away without seizing toilets?
Yeah, that's what Mr. Amate is saying, that yes, that is true, but they might have learnt their lessons, realizing that when they hastily wanted to, if you like, achieve their set target or promise, they were hasty. Now, having said that, somebody has considered, remember that the perceived, let's be temperate with our language, you know, we know that the results are saying, and rightly so, that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is winning this election.
Yes.
But you hear from his side also, because I monitored his speech, and he says that he is also waiting for the official declaration.
Yes. Before
now,
he can address
for
the
me,
nation.
both people are behaving statesmanly. Am I right?
Yes.
This one says, look, I've examined the results. There is no way, if you listen to Mahmoud, I will say, there is no way, even if they bring all the results that are left, that we'll be able to catch up with the lead. The one who is winning says, me, I cannot declare myself.
Yes, because that's the law.
And that's the law. I haven't won, so I'm waiting. Is this waiting period that you asked a question from the beginning? What is the atmosphere? Is this waiting period that is, you know, what do you call it, raising the tensions? Because the perception out there, and sometimes, unfortunately, is the actors of the political leaders, the actions of the political leaders which is causing all this.
So they are trying to play the statesmanly role.
No, the two leading nations are playing the statesmanly role. Then you have, apart from that, you have the party structure. Okay, so if you listen to the press briefings of both party structures, they are focusing rather on the what I call the things that are minor. Okay, and putting pressure on the Electoral Commission when we are not yet within the stipulated law for 72 hours can cause them into error or force them into error. Okay, so I'm saying that the atmosphere is charged because there is a perception that the delay is deliberate and it is going to allow the Electoral Commission to probably to manipulate some of the figures. I mean, we have gone round and we have heard some of that. So that is what is bringing out. So no, this time, if you listen to the press briefings that they were giving to them, they said, look, this time we are not going to sit down to allow them to manipulate. We know the results, we have it, but the Electoral Commission must be allowed to do so. It is only after the 72 hours that all of us can say, hey, wait, what is happening?
Niamate, is it not high time that I think the CI 127 sought to bring about electoral reforms, that the Electoral Commission gets new things underway? Because if the political parties can't collate their results in less than 24 hours, somebody can concede, meaning I have gathered all, and it's the election that is won at the polling stations. Sure. They can get their pin sheet and tally and say that even if it travels this hall, I will still not make it. What happens to the state institution? Can we not say that bureaucracy is what is keeping us in constant tension?
Well, so happily, I'm happy you actually quoted from the book that guides civilized communities, the Constitution. And once we have the 72 hours, I don't think we should even refer to what is happening as a delay. It is within the ambit of the mandate given to the Electoral Commissioner. And so it should take his time. If ever we want anything to change, then we should go back to the Constitution and cause that change. Otherwise, nobody should stampede anybody into declaring the result, when especially that same institution had performed poorly when it hastened itself to declare a result.
Yeah, because in 2020 there were some inaccuracies.
That was about 3-4 times, and it was a Ghanaian embarrassment. We shouldn't just point fingers at the EC, but it was an embarrassment that we all bathed in, and we shouldn't allow that to happen. So I think that woman should be given the time, and the institution EC should be given the time to come and give us the results when it is ready within the 72 hours. 72 hours. And let me also say this: when I heard Bawumia reading his speech, I thought it had come up too early. Yeah, because if you remember Al Gore in the US, he came up to concede, and then hours later he came to reverse it because he realized there were some other results. I mean, there's nothing. And then we also had a joke. I don't know whether it's a joke, but Atamils conceded, and Rollins, I was told, was very angry that these things you wait.
Rumors have it that even some people in the NPP are not happy with the early concession.
But you know what? The man said it all. One, he did what he did because he had done his calculations and realized that, look, no matter what happens, I can never catch up. That's one. Two, to diffuse the tension that we all had on us, because hey, is he going to hold us on until when and stuff? Three, he showed so much maturity.
So we will see excerpts of the concession speech that Dr. Bawumia delivered yesterday, rather surprisingly to everybody. Rather surprisingly, it was a pleasant surprise though.
Yeah, but it was a mature thing he did.
Yes, with the producer we'll work and then we'll hear him just like you are referring to him.
The media. Following yesterday's presidential and parliamentary elections, Ghanaians at home and abroad have been sitting on tenterhooks awaiting the outcome of the election. Let me say that the data from our own internal collation of the election results indicate that former President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has won the presidential election decisively. The NDC has also won the parliamentary election, even though we await final collation for a number of seats. However, I believe ultimately that these will not change the overall outcome. I have just called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to congratulate him as President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. I said during the signing of the Peace Pact that I was sure of two things: Ghana will win and peace will reign.
So that was Dr. Maud Bawumia yesterday. Bawumia conceding graciously to the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. And we had to show you those shots because we were making reference to it, and it's how it is more or less assuaging or coming tempers down in the heat of the moment, and the guests in the studio made reference to that. So you are still on the state this afternoon. We are looking at the elections, and then it matters arising, post-election and matters arising. My guests in the studio are the chairman for the Greater Accra Peace Council, Right Reverend Samuel Kofi Osabute, and governance expert and political analyst Ni Amate. And so far we have looked at the tension, what has caused the tension, the delay, and what it is more or less contributing to the overall atmosphere, and then touched on the vice president's concession speech yesterday. And Amate was saying it showed maturity. Bishop also has mentioned that it helped in watering down the tension and the system. Gentlemen, everybody was happy. In fact, I announced it because I was preaching, because I knew members were tense. They didn't know what was happening behind that. Then they started jubilating, at least. Then why are the supporters out there creating, if the one in there had conceded? We have fortunately, like you cited the Algor instance, that at least in the heat of this moment, we can have one of the major stakeholders trying to respond and react for us to have it. Gentlemen, let's look at the people's power. More or less, the EC reported that there was massive turnout. But the reports that we received, Bishop, and I'm happy you say you went around some of the polling stations, and the results we are hearing until the final national certified results are out. What we have heard on the wires, that turnout was low.
Well, that is true. The turnout, was low. At least wherever we went, we decided to take the statistics. Okay, and also, as an observer, you go to observe. You are not involved in the process itself. That's the rule. But you look at what is going on, and I wouldn't turn out figures because that is not my part. But to tell the phenomenon that we saw, and many people, the way the election itself was conducted, we have to, let's say, the positive side, because people had the opportunity to vote quickly. Yeah. Because whereas in many polling stations that we used to know in the past were crowded with people. Let me take Wesley Grammar, for example. There were about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actual voting stations. So nobody spent, the time, a lot of time. So it was moving. And then after some time, you realize that the people were not coming. Yeah. Some people received, after voting, we went to have discussions with the people, and it's, maybe they are thinking there's a long queue. So they were not coming. But as we moved along and the day was wearing down, we went and checked the distance. A place, for example, where they were expecting about 700 people, as at 4:30, when they were just about, it was only 360.
400 deficit.
I will leave the causes of it, or part of it. At least I know part of the causes, but I'll leave that for my senior brother to tell. Yes, he's the analyst. but this is the real information. This is just the raw data that we saw of us, because as an observer you are worried. Yeah. That was a 700. And listen, why
310?
And just when we count we got to almost about 400, because between 4 and 4:30, people now started rushing. You remember I told you there was a gap. Voting had gone, everything was quiet. We thought they were getting ready to count, and then people started calling, "Oh, Kamu." And you know why that was going on? Because they were tallying. Remember that we are, sorry. So people started calling their friends, please. It's like we are not getting our votes.
Yeah.
So come. We are not getting our votes. Come. We are not going. Even though I know the causes, I think since I have a co-panelist,
I think you hinted a bit in your earlier submission. Bread and butter. Why didn't they turn up?
Well, people did not turn out because you could clearly reference exactly what happened when Nana Addo visited Otumfuo in the year 2016 when Nana Addo won the election. And Nana Addo told him that, Otumfuo told Nana Addo that the people who voted Mahama out voted out of hunger and anger. And so, if you do not perform the way they expect you to perform, then you go the same way. What the situation is actually repeating itself, because it happened when we saw the back of Mahama in 2016. What happened? The supporters, most of the supporters didn't come to vote. And why is that? If you watch clearly, the situation is exactly the same. One, we don't like your opponent because we don't belong to their party. But we hated the fact that you disappointed us. And on that score, we aren't voting. Take a look at the declared scores. Back in 2020, Nana Addo and Mahama were in the 6 million bracket. Today, Mahama won with less than 4 million votes. And so you could tell the number of people who didn't come. They were not bothered at all. Yeah, they were disappointed. It was a silent protest. Yeah, it was a silent protest to make you aware that we cannot be pulled into that kind of situation when we went all out for you. Some people, it was at the peril of their lives when they voted you into power. So when it is expected for you to deliver and you are unable to do so, or you wouldn't do that, then the people would not come. Others didn't come because they felt it wasn't worth it. Others, I spoke to quite a number of people. They told me, one, they had tried the NDC, they had tried the NPP, and both were not worthy of their votes. Okay? And many other persons felt that, well, the incumbent will still win, so why should I bother? But you see, when they are selling tomatoes on the market, it's not labeled NDC tomato or MPP tomato.
We all go to the same market.
We all go to the same market.
Buy the same.
We all buy with the same currency. We all feel the pinch of the inflationary fluctuation and stuff. So what there is that if we're all feeling the same thing, it is just for matters of competition that we separate ourselves into NDC, MPP. But once those things are out, we remain brothers and Ghanaians for that matter. And so if you think, and then again, check the way things went. Others were buying votes. But when I live in the same house with your supporter and he takes money from you and comes to tell me, how do you expect me to vote for you?
When I don't have some.
When you didn't give me offer. So the idea is that there are many reasons why people didn't come to vote. But for me, it is the protest, and it is what Otumfuo told Nana Addo, that if you do not perform too, you go the same. Unfortunately, Bawumia is the one bearing the brand.
So what did Otumfuo tell Mahama in his first term? Okay. Nana. So that advice was to Nana Akufo-Addo then in his first term. Let's take a listen.
Adam no near free fan 77 and son I was about my boy now. Listen, I feel a home club your son. Nana say, on no free fappens in okay. So I know a jump on water tower about London. Yaman no Nana Namni could you take him. Then I jump water tower about London, okay. So I know and couldn't touch and then and son I was about ya, Mobile Bigina Bua, and says I bear and put here. Sana esa ba obegina bi wa ne.
Me broche ba me lawyer no me no na ko ni nyina.
Tumfo so broche ba ne lawyer no no na e ko ba nyina.
Ani akwa abapim ne.
Enu na makwa ababepim ne.
Enu aso nkrofo be ka kire so wonpo asem.
Nra nkrofo be ka kire se obi ana na mfi.
Enso wa anya ntum wo ka se da bi se dem sine na tie de ntisa.
So tia bi anu a wo hu. So wa anya ntum ka se da bi se dem sine ntidie ntisa.
Me de kakra ne se me de afutupa nam de be ma wo.
Tumfo se o ma ati ase se won de afutupa ena de be ma wo.
De Ghana fo pani adwuma.
Ghana fo de mo pani adwuma.
De pani ayahwe.
De mo pe ayarehwe.
De pani nkoso.
De pe nkoso.
Na enu a na ye hwehwe.
Enu a na Ghana fo mo.
Ye to aba ne wie ya ye bobo se wa wen. Obi gina TV3 so wo ka kire nipa na wo se wo na TV companyimfo no ko dwan ma ha ma wo ka kire nsa aba ne de kom ne abufuo na to ye.
So we na bi ka ko gina TV3 kan. Se ko ma ma na ka kire nsa de kom ane abufuo na to ye.
Na asa ko na do so ka kire nsa te e kom ne abufuo so no so ba no anya de kom ne abufuo be sa to ti.
Kan kire na do so oba na so wan we ne ye e kom ne.
So that was the advice from the wise king Otumfuo to Nana Akufo-Addo during his first term when he visited him in his palace, that the people of Ghana voted on hunger and anger. That was how come they voted to reject your predecessor. So it's gelling into what might have contributed to the low turnout as we are discussing. As we were discussing. So can we say that the wise king was being prophetic? This was years back, and it is the same thing that has repeated itself, and we are attributing it to that people didn't come out to vote or have voted out of anger and hunger. Could it be prophetic?
Yeah, it's prophetic. Yes, the point is that we have the sages, our fathers. Let me add, for gender sensitivity, our mothers of this age, like Dr. Otumfuo, are people we have to listen to. And you will say it's prophetic. Yes, he said, I'm giving you an advice. From where he sits, and all manner of people come to him, and then he has watched the governance since. Okay, he interacts with people, and that plays into what myself and my colleague, analyst Amate are saying that we should be happy. I think that we should be happy that our political system, no matter the faults, the democracy that we are carrying out, at least is maturing. And is sending a lesson down to all who will seek our mandate, that people will no longer be, deceived by sloganeering, promises, etc., etc. Okay, until their felt needs are met. No matter what sloganeering programs that we churn out, if it's not meeting our needs, we are going to, and it is reflected at the local level, not just the national level. So as you begin to analyze, I've not seen all the results yet, but as you begin to analyze the results, even on the ground at the local level, the parliamentary level, you begin to see what is happening. Yeah. That people are voting according to the issues that affect their daily lives. Yeah. So where we even thought were safe havens, and a few of the results that I have myself had a shock, say, what is happening? But it shows that the electorate are getting matured and they are voting on issues that affect their daily life. And this should be a warning to all who will be seeking our mandate as voters from now on. From now on.
Neamate, Bishop just mentioned that the Ghanaian voter or electorate is becoming matured. Is the voter becoming sophisticated?
Well,
looking at the results that are coming.
We are discerning, but I must say we became mature long before now. Yeah, and that is what Otumfuo saw, and that is what Otumfuo cautioned. And so, but the Ghanaian has this attitude of long suffering, so that we tolerate you, accommodate your inefficiencies for a longer while. Sometimes it's annoying how long the Ghanaian can tolerate such ill feelings. But once the mind is made up, that's it. You'll be showed the gate. Remember, the president-elect Mahama suffered a one term sometime in the past, which ended effectively in the year 2016. He is back. Why is he back? Because the ills and the non-execution of promises by the current government made Mahama's sins whiter. Okay? And he appeared lily-like, angelic, so that he became like, oh, though he's tasted power before, he didn't act this way. We're not here to do the analysis of their inefficiencies. Otherwise, you might also want to believe Mahama when he said that the Ghanaian, has short memories. But the idea still remains that we like to accommodate you and give you longer rope. To hope that you change from your ways. I'm told it is the reason Jesus has delayed him. He's giving us longer.
Now you see, but the signs were there. The signs were there. Yes. As the signs were there because in the second term of the current government, you saw the figures going down. The figures were going down. So let's take it at the national level. The president before, in the first term, won by 1 million plus. Am I right? In the second term, it came to 500. So the signs
have always been there.
Where
that we refuse to see.
Well, whether we were playing the ostrich or not, I don't know.
Viewers, this is the state, and we've been engaged in a conversation. Look at the matters arising, post-election issues. We've looked at the concession speech. We've looked at what attributed to the low turnout, and then we're going to take a quick break, and when we are back, we'll look at the violence that have been associated with the process and what are the expectations of the new administration going into 2025. What are we expecting of President-elect and his team? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240 154825, or 0244 596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known.
We are young but wise, strong yet fragile, soft but tough. We are young people. Join me, the very Reverend Gideon Doche Osabute, as I connect you to the world of young people. It's Why Connect, your new and exciting young people's program, right here on Wesleyan Television. It's Why Connect, connecting youth to Christ. Why connect? The future is here. See you.
Welcome back. This is the state. We are looking at post-election matters arising. We've been looking at low turnout and other issues that we are all aware and monitoring as a people in the country, looking at the mood generally in the country. And before we just left off, we were looking at how sophisticated, or one of my guests said, Ghanaians have been matured over the time, but they just give you a long rope to see that you will repent and see that the power lies with the people. We continue with the discussion, and gentlemen, we'll look at the incidents of violence as has been recorded on the election day. We heard about the Nyankpala or the Nyankpala in the Tolong constituency where one person was shot dead. There was the incident in Obuasi East where a civilian was battling with armed wielding military men because they didn't see the military. They've been told they shouldn't allow military near the police station, so he really engaged in fisticuff with gun wielding military men. We've had other incidents of violence in Kaswa. Somebody has been shot dead. And even prior to that, even some people have stormed certain hotels and there have been fights and whatever. Why must we be recording these unfortunate incidents during our electoral process?
Well, let me speak from the perspective first of the before my brother comes in. He's analytical, so he was no, but we foresaw some of these things. So right from the beginning of the year, as I said, as was here last week, mentioned that the National Peace Council, through the regional peace councils, have been educating the electorate all the time, over the years, towards this political violence. And we know that the law has been passed, okay? But the fact that the law has been passed on vigilantism and what we call it Related Offences Act, did not mean that we will not experience some people who may go to certain extremes. So this was to be expected. But even though the causes are yet to be known, and the parties involved, or whether it is this party or this party, is not an issue. We are talking about the violence itself. The election itself, that's what Otufo said, and we all affirm here that it shows that something had been boiling up in the people. Okay? When you study violence, it's not as if somebody just stands up one day and starts to slap somebody. But something might have been boiling up.
Something triggers it. And
then it triggers it. So we are yet to find out the causes of what went on. By violence itself, by nature, is always triggered by something. And in such an election, period, people may already have their differences. 4 years ago, there was an incident somewhere. It was attributed to the elections. But when we went down to the Ghana Peace Council after the dust had settled, we realized that it was a purely family issue. But because it was election year, the thing triggered itself, and it was, it was as if it was because of the election that this triggered. But we should condemn it. And the National Peace Council has already issued a decision condemning all the violences that are taking place. But the Peace Council is also interested in what we call conflict transformation. You see, the Peace Council is there to prevent, manage, and help to resolve. So beyond this, you see, what has been happening is that anytime we have had these violences, then we begin to play political games. Each parties are blaming each other instead of sitting down and finding out that what are the root causes. Could we, as a people, have prevented this? I think post-election, now, this should give us an opportunity to sit down and find out what could we do collectively, what could we do as individuals to prevent. We don't want to start approaching that the EC didn't do this, the security men didn't do that, these people didn't do that. What happened? Do we have the data? And I think we have enough, experts in this country, who should be able to help us to analyze what went on. Viewers, this is where I want to stop and ask my brother
to. Viewers will roll on your screen the incident that took place in Obuasi East, and you can in your shots now is a civilian and a purported communications officer of the National Democratic Congress trying to ward off two heavily armed military men who were approaching a polling station, and he claims he acted on the earlier announcement by the Ghana Armed Forces that they were not going to allow the military will not invade any space until it gets to the extreme where they are invited. So the military had no business in the electoral process. That was the earlier announcement that has come from the Ghana Armed Forces. So more or less civilian power stopping them from approaching the polling station, and you could realize that they got personal and fisticuff was raging, holding the gun and battling based on the information that we've all been told that the military have no business. They should not invade any polling station. They should not get near because the police was well prepared enough to ensure that we had peace. That is what it's rolling on your screens now. So, gentlemen in the studio, 𝗟𝗓𝗘, what do you think of the involvement of the military, and were these young men justified in stopping them at the peril of their lives?
See, when we're doing things, we don't give the fine details. We're told that the military were not to be in the perimeter of the voting areas. So they will hang out on the peripherals just so they could be called anytime it was necessary. Now, those are loosely defined words: perimeter, peripherals, etc. So you cannot hold their foot to the fire of scrutiny by saying that, well, up to this point it's within the perimeter, so go back. And again, you see, people are foolhardy. This gentleman, for instance, I mean, how dare you stand before not one military officer, but two? And look, the gun could have gone off anytime.
Yeah.
And what would have happened to you? Besides, does it lie in your power?
You know, the other one was giving gunshots.
Yes.
Shots at the
yes.
He wants to be a hero.
Does it lie within your power to stop the military from coming over? And besides, if you are concerned, call whoever you need to call to come around to judge whether they're supposed to be there or not. Because these are two military men just taking a stroll, perhaps. If you think they are infiltrating into the area they shouldn't be, call whoever. But don't, I mean, that gun could have gone off anytime. And when he was fighting them,
on your shots now, in your shots, as I can see, is a Kaswa incident as well. 𝗟𝗓𝗘, please proceed.
Yeah, so the violence, I think it could be traced to the point where, like I said, during the pre-election times, we had top brass of each party telling their supporters, we have won. Not we are winning, we have won already. And the vigor with which they speak when you encounter them, you might be convinced that perhaps you went to sleep and the elections had been held and you are just waking up to the results. Yeah, oh, we've won. Oh, I told you, we have won already. Even on Friday before the Saturday, I was speaking to her, and each party will tell you the same thing. And so I had the cause to call some of the big brasses, and I told them to re-educate their people. Because if you make it calcify in their minds that, look, we have won, they will accept no other result apart from the winning side. And we all know the winning side should go to only one side.
Yeah.
So what do we do? So that could be part of it too. Like you said, it happened in 2016 when NDC lost out. So the MPP marched off, and without, you know, when you want to take over from somebody, I mean, even in a house company or some small enterprise, you take time. There are procedural matters that you go through.
So you remember this, the toilet taking has started. This morning they had rushed to Nadmo.
Yeah, Nadmo to lock out and throw Nana Akufo-Addo's pictures away and to ask for a replacement with Nana Mahama's picture.
They have also gone to Metro Mass already.
Yes. I mean, it is not your job to do that. But you see, unlike the US, when after the 6th January thing, the persons who were caught on camera were jailed some 23 years. It will never happen here. Because here, if you want to commit any wicked error, you hide behind a party. And you can go scot-free.
I thought you were going to say here, Peace Council will come to your rescue.
No, the Peace Council will not come to your rescue. This is a criminal case. Yes. The Peace Council is not a fire officer or security officer. I mean, I dropped him because he was, you see, it's a political equalization.
Yeah.
So there's in 2016 you did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are also going to do it. And those who are doing it, okay, know that it is their part exactly which is going to come into power. So they will never be prosecuted.
Yeah, they
and that's what he was referring to. In the US, it will not happen.
No,
it doesn't matter who is in charge. We know that even the current president himself, he elects himself, is still under impeachment. What do we call it?
Well,
he's still being investigated, right? For that particular incident.
It's due for sentencing.
No, but recently they waived it off. Because they said in the American Constitution, there's no way a sitting president could be arrested.
Yes, there's a convention that no sitting president could be in the US.
So this political equalization is what is bringing about the impunity. That they did it.
Yeah. And nothing happened to them.
Nothing. That is the thing.
In any case, we are coming to power anyway.
Yeah, so even if you arrest me, I'm in power and nothing can happen to me.
The president one could arrest somebody.
Yeah.
But the incoming one could
release them.
And because of that, it also affects the work of the security.
Yeah.
Because the current security are also trying to protect the authorities.
Yeah.
If I'm going to act and I arrested ABC and my position is changed from this position to this position because they already know who is coming.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of state government we want?
And you remember
governance we want to have?
This gentleman holding the 2 guns and facing the military men, he's been described already by Sami Jemfi as a hero.
Yes. They're celebrating him.
And they applauded him. In fact, he was given a standing ovation when he wasn't even in Accra. So already he is gunning for a certain position because he risked his life for that kind of situation, and not too many people could do that. In that same video, you find a certain woman, I don't know whether it's the wife, but preventing a certain man from getting involved, pushing him away. And those are the things. See, I would have loved for us to perhaps go into why they failed.
Exactly the point I'm coming to, gentlemen. Good. We will really have to do a part 2 of this because of time. We've not been able to look at the administration, the new administration, our expectation of him coming. So we'll definitely do a part 2. Viewers, just pardon us. Just when the conversation is getting interesting, we just have to go because time is not on our side. Certainly, we'll do a part 2 of the post-election analysis. So we've been looking at matters arising after Saturday's election. We've looked at violence, the concession speeches that have come, the civilian military intercessions, and that we had altercations that we had along the line that is not supposed to be, and the takeover and the violence around the place. We will certainly be back to continue to do the analysis of the show. Trust us on the state to bring you on board in the conversation. We are back on your screens on Wednesday. Please keep the conversation going. My name is Gabriel to Ankrah. Goodbye.